Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video, we'll be doing the review for the Samsung Galaxy C9 Pro, which is a new phablet device from Samsung. And I've been testing this device for almost 2 weeks now. And before I proceed, let me give you a configuration overview. The Samsung Galaxy C9 Pro is powered by the Snapdragon 653 chipset, and it comes with 6GB of RAM. And before I proceed with my review, let me answer some of the common questions that I was getting regarding the Galaxy C9 Pro. So this is the Samsung Galaxy C9 Pro, and let me just quickly give you an overview about this device. And the first thing that I liked about this device is this always on display. And as you can see, this gives you a brief idea what's going on. You get see some icons that specifies you got some notifications and the time. And many of you were asking, does this one have a LED notification light? As you can see, it does have a physical LED notification light that is present. It's blinking. And I also like the fact that the fingerprint scanner is now an active fingerprint scanner. If you just place your finger on it, it unlocks, and it's really fast. This one is a physical button. You can always press it and unlock, but if you just place your finger also on this one, it unlocks because it's an active fingerprint scanner. And moving to sensors, Samsung did not skimp many sensors on this one. In fact, it has all the sensors, and even this gyroscope sensor that you can see. It has almost every important sensor that you need, and including the compass sensor. So in terms of sensors, Samsung hasn't skipped on the sensors. And moving to the UI, it is running on TouchWiz. As you can see, it's a typical TouchWiz that you get, but the UI is a little bit different. This is the new TouchWiz that's known as the Grace UI. And you get this quick toggles, and the theme is sort of white. It's a lot whiter, as you can see. And in terms of options provided, again here it has all the options, including NFC. So that is what you're getting. And we also have the ultra data saving mode. So this is the new Grace UI. It's a lot whiter. It's a personal preference, but this is what we are getting on this device. Now moving to other things, as it's a TouchWiz, I'm happy to say that Samsung didn't skimp on a lot of things. It has multi-window support. For example, we are in this app and you can just minimize this. We have seen this in some of the other Samsung phones. So you have all those options. And apart from this, we also have the multi-window. If you go to the multitasking bar, you'll notice this icon. If you press this, and now I can launch some other application also side by side. For example, let's say we will launch the Google Maps. So that option is there. So it does support this multi-window functionality, and you can move around, close the apps and stuff. So that is present. Another thing is that these buttons are again backlit, and they do provide haptic feedback. And again, as I've mentioned, even NFC support is there. Some of you were asking. So in general operations, the Snapdragon 653 handled this phone without any issues, and the RAM management is also done very well. This comes with actually 6GB of RAM. So what do I feel about this Samsung Galaxy C9 Pro? Let me divide it between the pros and cons, what I liked about the device and what are the things that I did not like about this device. Let's start with the pros, what I liked about this device. And the first thing is regarding the screen quality. It's a Super AMOLED screen, and it's a very bright screen. Even in outdoor conditions, it was easily visible if you keep it on auto brightness. So no complaints regarding the screen quality. Also in terms of cellular call quality, I had no issues, and this one also works with the Reliance Jio, that is VoLTE, and I tested it with Airtel and Reliance Jio. I had no issues with that regarding network reception. Now moving to charging, it does support fast charging, and the charger that is supplied is a fast charger, and I tested it. When it was at 11%, I used the charger that was supplied, and it's charged to 100% in about 85 minutes. So for a full charge from a complete discharge, it should take slightly over 90 minutes. Now, if we talk about the battery life, the battery life is sort of average in my opinion, because this one is having that huge 6-inch screen, and the battery capacity is just 4000 milliamp hour. So in terms of battery life, the battery life is decent but not great. If you're sort of a normal to an average user, it should last easily for a full typical working day. But if you're sort of a heavy user, you might have to top it up in the evening. In terms of screen on time, I was getting a screen on time between 4.5 hours to 5.5 hours of screen on time. Now, I also, as I mentioned, I like the fact that this device has that always on feature, and this does not drain the battery life. So this is a nice feature that is there on the C9 Pro. Moving to the fingerprint, again, as I had mentioned, the fingerprint scanner is actually very good, and it's an active fingerprint scanner, so no issues regarding that. In fact, it's even better than the fingerprint scanner found on the Galaxy S7. Now, another thing that I have noticed is that this phone is having actually dual speaker setup. One of the main speaker is here at the bottom, but the earpiece also acts as a speaker, so you get that sort of stereo experience with this device. But in terms of loudness, I would say it's just okay. It's not very loud, so you have to be aware of that. Now, moving to sensors, as I've mentioned earlier, it has all the important sensors, even gyroscope and compass and auto brightness and all the other sensors are present on this device. So Samsung did not skimp regarding the sensors on this Galaxy C9 Pro. Now, moving to TouchWiz, which is and it's having that Grace TouchWiz UI on this one, and it handles this device without any issues. And this one is having that 6 GB of RAM. Hence, even the RAM management is done very well on this device. And while I was testing this device, I never noticed issues of any lagginess or anything like that on this device. So in terms of fluidity, it's a very fluid device, and the TouchWiz, that is the new TouchWiz Grace UI, runs very well on it. Now, another thing that I have noticed is that this is a proper dual SIM device with a dedicated SD card slot. These days, many of the devices don't come with that. So if you're sort of a person who needs to use proper two SIMs and also a micro SD card, that option is there on this one. Also, another thing that I have noticed is that this device did not exhibit any overheating issues when I tested this device. I even played some very heavy games with this, and it ran most of the games fine without any issues like Mortal Kombat, Nova 3 and stuff. But with Asphalt 8, I did notice some frame drops. So it'll run most of the games fine, but with some very heavy games, you might notice some lag. But the good thing was that even after extended gaming, the handset did not heat up. So these were and lastly, again, it comes with 64 gigabytes of internal storage, and you have that dedicated SD card slot, the micro SD card slot. So storage should not be an issue with this device. So these were the good things that I liked about the Samsung Galaxy C9 Pro. Now let's move to the cons and the things that I did not like with this device. And the first thing is regarding the audio via the headphone jack. This won't affect everyone, but if you're very picky about music, the sound output via the headphone jack is actually very flat and it does not have that much depth. I tested it with some high quality headphones, a couple of them, and I had the same results. Don't get me wrong, it will be fine for most of the people, but if you are very picky about it, you'll notice that. But to give credit to Samsung, they have provided some audio settings, and there you can actually control the bass trebles and the instrument sound. So you have to tweak it up quite a bit to get good output from the headphone jack. Now moving to the camera, it has a 16 megapixel front facing camera and a 16 megapixel rear facing camera, and in outdoor sample shots, as you can see, it does an excellent job where there is a lot of lighting and in outdoor conditions. But when you move to indoor lighting conditions and artificial lighting conditions, as this C9 Pro simply does not have any optical image stabilization, it really struggles in artificial lighting and low lighting situations. And also, I do not like the fact that this one actually does not support any 4K video recording or slow motion video recording or time-lapse options that we generally find on Samsung devices. And I also compared the camera performance with the OnePlus 3T because many of you were asking for that, and clearly the OnePlus 3T had a better camera than this one. So in terms of camera, I would say Samsung sort of skimped on this Galaxy C9 Pro, and the biggest culprit is that the omission of optical image stabilization, and it is very strange considering the price point of this device. And another thing is that as it's a phablet device, it's great for media consumption because it's having that huge 6-inch screen. But if you're a person who takes a lot of phone calls, then this might not be the ideal device for you because you have to really stretch your hands to hold it while you were taking long calls. So you have to be aware of that. If you take a lot of voice calls, then this might not be the ideal device for you considering the size of the device. And lastly, coming to the pricing, it's priced at rupees 36,000 to about 36,500 in India. So certainly you're going to pay a high premium for what Samsung is offering. And unless I would say, yes, it's a decent device overall, it does the job. Apart from the camera performance, where I expected slightly better considering it was a Samsung device. And at this price point, you have better options right now, like the OnePlus 3T. Or if you're a camera buff, then the LG G4 now is available for just about 28,000, has even a better camera than both the OnePlus 3T and even this one. So overall, I would say at this price point, this is a device for someone who specifically is just looking for a Samsung device and wants a really big phablet sort of a device, and for whom dual SIM functionality with a dedicated SD card is a necessity. If you're that kind of a person, you can have a look at this Samsung Galaxy C9 Pro. But frankly, I feel in the market there are far better options considering the price to performance ratio. I've also posted other videos on the Samsung Galaxy C9 Pro. Links for those videos will be there in the YouTube show notes. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.